let's talk about something so many of us in long-term relationships wonder about. Where did that initial spark, that fire, actually go? Today, we're not just going to figure out why that passion seems to fade, but we're going to get into some really powerful strategic steps you can take to bring it roaring back.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the anatomy of that fading fire, to really get to the root of it. Then, we'll dive into 4 amazing strategies: disrupting the same old script, using a little absence to spark desire, making sure you feel safe enough to reconnect, and, my personal favorite, the ultimate hack, becoming a new mystery.
All right, so let's start with the why. Why does that incredible, intoxicating passion so often cool down over time? How does it morph into what feels like a comfortable but kind of passionless roommate situation?
This quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? See, predictability is comfortable, for sure, but it is absolute poison for passion. Passion needs a little bit of novelty, some anticipation, that thrill of the unknown. When every day is just a repeat of the last, the very chemicals in our brain that fuel desire, well, they just kind of go to sleep.
So these are what some experts call the thieves of desire. We just talked about habit, which is a huge one, but then there's that slow buildup of resentment, right? That Cold War happening in the living room. Then you've got hormonal stagnation. That's just what happens when nothing new ever occurs. And that last one, well, that's a really surprising biological one.
Get ready for this one. Olfactory habituation. It's a real, actual biological thing. It means your brain can literally get so used to your partner's unique scent that it stops triggering that primitive chemical arousal it did at the beginning. So no, you're not crazy. This change you're feeling isn't just in your head. Okay, so now that we get the problem, let's get into the good stuff, the solutions. If habit is the poison, then our very first strategy is the antidote. We have to intentionally shake things up, especially in the bedroom.
And this whole thing starts with a huge mindset shift. It's so easy to fall into a pattern where sex is just a task, right? A predictable outcome. The goal here is to completely reframe it. You are not performing a duty for him. You are co-creating a brand new shared experience, a journey of discovery for both of you.
And here is a beautiful, practical exercise to do just that. It's called the Rainbow Paint Practice, and it's all about breaking that routine. It slows everything down and helps resensitize your bodies to each other. But outside of the usual script, it's all about touching without a goal, which is how you rebuild that delicious anticipation and sensory novelty.
Okay, our second strategy might feel a little backward at first, but it's all about using distance to create desire. Just think about it. For a fire to burn bright, what does it need? Oxygen. And in a relationship, a little bit of healthy separation is that oxygen.
This quote just says it all, right? You can't really desire something you feel like you already completely have. Being together constantly, as nice as it is, just erases that little bit of mystery that makes someone so attractive. When you have your own hobbies, your own friends, your own life, you bring a whole new energy back to the relationship. You become someone he gets to discover all over again.
And this chart shows that dynamic perfectly. Look at the unhealthy one, that pressure-withdraw cycle. That's when one person needs like 90% of the other's attention. It feels suffocating, and it just makes the other person pull away. But a healthy, sovereign dynamic, that's where you both have your independence, and that separateness actually makes you more attracted to each other. You're coming together because you want to, not because you need to.
Now, we have to talk about the absolute foundation of everything. Because for women especially, sexual desire is so deeply tied to emotional security. I mean, if you don't feel safe, if you don't feel heard and connected on an emotional level, your body is just not going to open up sexually. It's that simple.
And this right here is the emotional heart of the whole thing. All those unresolved fights and unspoken disappointments, they're like boulders blocking a river. They completely stop the flow of sexual energy. You just can't fake passion. If you're feeling emotionally shut down, that wall is going to show up in the bedroom every single time.
So the only way to clear those boulders is to change how you deal with conflict. It's about shifting out of what we might call a child role. Pouting, giving the silent treatment, hoping he'll just magically read your mind, and stepping into a proactive adult role. And that just means owning your feelings and communicating them clearly and without blame.
And here is a real, tangible tool for that. Instead of waiting around for him to fix things, you can use a direct, vulnerable script just like this one. It takes ownership, I'm feeling, and it clearly states your need. I want to feel safe. This is such a powerful way to start the reconnection process and, pave the way for real intimacy.
Okay, our final strategy. And honestly, this is the most empowering one of all. It's not about trying to change him. It's not even about fixing the us. It's all about you. It puts the power to completely transform the dynamic right back in your hands.
You bring that spark back by letting yourself evolve. When you grow, you literally become a new person for him to rediscover. This could be something physical, a new haircut, a totally different style. Or it could be intellectual, diving deep into a new subject that gives you this amazing new confidence. Or hey, it could be taking the lead in the bedroom and completely blowing his expectations out of the water.
And this is the real takeaway. The most powerful aphrodisiac in any long-term relationship is your own personal evolution. Your growth is what creates that novelty, that mystery, that passion absolutely needs to survive. You are not a finished book that he's already read. You are an ever-unfolding story.
So we're going to leave you with that thought. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about unlocking all the incredible versions of yourself that are already inside you, just waiting. And when you do that, you don't just transform yourself, you transform your entire relationship. So, who is she? Well, that's entirely up to you.
You can find the electronic version of book She Who Awakens by Alina Chamberlain at wishforlove.org.